Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. So today's video is fully packed because we'll be sharing with you guys the opportunities available for everyone that wishes to move to the US. Guys, I know that a lot of you have been asking me, oh Tochi, how can we move? What is there for us? How? So we're here to answer that question and tell you, the opportunities, whether you are in the UK or you are in Nigeria, in Africa, anywhere you are in the world and wish to move to the USA, United States of America. We're going to be sharing with you opportunities that we know that works. And I've brought somebody here, a very special guest who has been living in the USA for a very long time, and I'm sure she has a lot to share with you all. So please stick around with me to the end of this video where we'll go straight into it.
Hello, and Tochi, thank you for having me on your channel. My name is Ezine. I go by Ezine Wanyoma, and Tochi's cousin actually. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I know that works and things that some people have done. I've lived here in the US for 30 years, a little over 30 years, so speak with some experience. There are three major ways that people can migrate here. One is through marriage, and the other one is through jobs. Believe it or not, there are still jobs that are hiring people straight out of Nigeria. And then the third one is through school. And I will say the third one is perhaps the commonest of all, to come here. Most people that I know that came here came through school. Most of the men that came maybe got married later, but most people came through education and getting papers from their school so that they can get visas, student visas to come.
Yeah.
So, that's that.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I think that is the commonest one because with the little time I've spent here, I've met a lot of people and even heard lots of interesting stories about people who moved here through school. And the interesting thing is there are lots of scholarship opportunities where you get fully funded scholarships that covers your tuition and every other thing you can think about. It's mind-blowing. I even remember that when we went for our US visa interview, I saw somebody who has been in the UK and he and his family were there. They just got their own visas as well. They were moving from the UK to the US, and it was a fully funded scholarship for his PhD. And guess what? His post-study work visa was about to expire. He had just 3 more months for it to expire and he got this. So guys, you can do this, okay? So there are lots of opportunities like that.
Let me share some of the stories that I know. The most important thing is if you are determined and willing, you can do most of this research yourself. I was in a WhatsApp group, like I was sharing with you, with some students from my alumni group in Nigeria, younger people, and when they got to know that I am a professor here at a university here in the US, they began to ask me questions. How can they come here and all that? And I began to share with them what they can do. You can apply for masters in public health. You can apply for masters in any other specialty and see if you can get a place. And one of the things that people always think about, how am I going to pay for it? It's very expensive. Well, this guy, let me share his story. He applied for a master's in public health at Texas A&M University, one of the universities here. I just mentioned that school as one of the universities, but that's where he applied to. And he got an admission. He came in. He told me that the only tuition he sourced to pay for was the very first one that he paid. When he came, because of his grades from his undergrad in Nigeria, he was able to get scholarships here. He did well here. He got more scholarships. He was able to get work study, and that means studying as you're, working as you're studying right there at the school. And that covered his tuition, his accommodation, and everything while he was in school. He didn't have to pay anything else. So people think maybe in 2024 those things don't exist anymore. They do. People are still coming here with scholarships. There's another girl that I know of that came to a university when we lived in Georgia from Nigeria. And I asked her the same question because I like to ask questions. I said, how were you able to get the scholarship to pay for your school? She said it was there in Nigeria. She went to, I think, one of these international schools and took the SAT, which is the equivalent of our WAEC, and applied to a school. Now, one of the things people could do is you may not look for the very big schools, big name schools, but there are other smaller schools within the US, in small towns, little obscure schools that have some departments that are not very popular courses that people do, but they do exist. And because those departments exist, they have professors, they have to have students.
Yeah.
And if they don't have people applying to them, they're not going to exist. So sometimes our people can take those opportunities. Now, don't wait for people to spoon feed you. The internet is at your fingertips. You can use your phone to find out any information that you want regarding these things.
Yeah. And there's something very interesting I learned also, just speaking with you and other people, that they actually give a preference to people from Africa.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Most of the Ivy League schools, and the Ivy League schools, I'm talking about your Harvard and Yale and Columbia and Brown, schools like that, UPenn, they don't have merit scholarships. What they have is what they call need-based scholarships. And merit scholarship, of course, by the name implies, people that did very well academically. Everybody going to those schools, everybody going there is already good. Yeah. They're coming with great grades. So if they're giving scholarship, they'll be given to everybody. But then the need-based is, just as the name implies, based on your needs. If, for example, you are coming from a poorer background or disadvantaged background, that's the correct term, where your parents didn't earn that much, or you're coming from a third world country, things like that will qualify you. So many of those schools, your background will qualify for those kind of scholarships, such that somebody who doesn't have much may come into those schools and pay little or nothing, being subsidized by people who are paying the full tuition for it. So America has things like that, but if you don't ask, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, guys, I heard quite a number of stories like that where a lot of people came in through that means, and you don't want to hear what they wrote as the challenges they had. Even my cousin here was one of the beneficiaries of
I can share that freely. I went to dental school here. I came out with loans of a lot of money, $120,000 actually. So, but I went into teaching. When I did private practice for a little while, then I went into teaching. When I went into teaching, this is my own research. Nobody had ever told me anything about a loan repayment program. I never heard it from anyone. I just went on the internet on my own. I said I check in for loan repayment program, and I stumbled onto something that was called Faculty Loan Repayment Program. This is many years ago. Mm-hmm. And I looked through the qualifications and saw that I qualified. One of the criteria for qualification was you have to show that you had some kind of disadvantage growing up.
Hardship.
Yes, some kind of hardship. And I was born in the heat of the Nigerian Civil War. That was a disadvantage, for me. And that was what I wrote in my essay, and that qualified. And I got most of that loan paid off. I only paid like maybe 8,000 out of the 120 and got the rest of the 112,000 paid off by a federal, government program. There are so many jobs. I have friends that are graduated from pharmacy school that owed a lot of money from their loans as well. And they went to work in rural areas or Indian health reservation or inner cities, and they get their loans paid off as well. So there are so many opportunities and so many things. I'm saying this to say, don't let the loans scare you. Whether you're here, you want to go to school, or you're coming in, at least apply. The first step is applying and getting an admission. And then see if the rest is going to work for you.
Yeah.
You never know if it's going to work if you don't try.
True. There are so many people here. Interestingly, we're currently in Houston, Texas, and there are so many Nigerians here, right? And all of them came in here either through study. In fact, most of them, the greater percentage came in through study, and then some through work, and others maybe by marriage and the rest of it. So you too can do it, okay? Yep. Like she said, just do your research. It's online.
Yep.
Scholarship opportunities in the USA. These are, opportunities that our people are not really tapping into, but they are all there for you. And like she said, these universities, these lecturers, they're all existing. They want you to come so they can work and make their money. So please do so. Okay?
And there are people like you that are doing shows like this. People have sent me links of them on Instagram or on YouTube. There are people who are talking about scholarship opportunities in the US, scholarship opportunities in Canada, in Australia. Look at those things, apply to them and see if it works for you. There is not just the US, there are people who want to go other places as well.
Yeah.
So they can look into it and see, which one will work in their favor.
Okay, but there's something else that I really want you to address, if you don't mind. It's about the healthcare system in the US.
Okay.
Because, when you're not in the US, you hear a lot of different kinds of stories. So, for the UK, we pay IHS fees. Like students, those on a study visa, work visa, you pay IHS fees, and that is what covers your healthcare throughout your stay in the UK. But for the US, we hear that there's nothing like that. So you pay a lot of money for it. And we even hear stories about people going bankrupt when they fall ill. I don't know how true that is, especially students.
Okay, are you talking about students specifically?
Well, yeah, generally about healthcare, how you guys deal with that, or how students can deal with that as well.
Every full-time student is required to have a health insurance. So you have to buy a health insurance if you're a student. And that's built into your tuition, or part of the fees, not tuition. Part of the fees you pay is, regarding health insurance. But if your parent, for example, is already here and you can get health insurance through your parents, like my children went to college on our own health insurance, so they didn't have to take any from school. So about the health insurance here, yes, it does exist that you have to pay for it. And do people go bankrupt for healthcare? That also does happen because, healthcare is very expensive. And America is a capitalist society where, people money speaks for a whole lot of things. But then let me tell you another thing that I lived in the UK for a few years and then lived here and live here now. So I can tell you comparatively what the difference is in these two societies. Here in the US, we still do have your equivalent of NHS where everybody is in some kind of government sponsored healthcare system. We have that here as well. We call it Medicaid. So if you're lower income here, they don't just leave you to your own. You get Medicaid. You do qualify based on your income. You can qualify for Medicaid. You can qualify for Obama. Maybe you guys have heard about Obamacare. Obamacare, they call it Obamacare, but it has a more formal name. It was started by Obama. That's why they call it Obamacare. It's a health insurance that people can buy, and it's based also on your income. So you have people who pay a lot, you have people who don't pay that much. So it's not as scary as people think it is, speaking from experience. And if you have a full-time job here, they provide health insurance where you pay something towards it though. From your salary. Yes, they take it out of your salary every month.
And then when you go to the hospital, that covers it automatically.
That covers it, but then most of the insurance, you still have a copay that you pay when you go to, for example, mine, every doctor's visit that I go to, I have a copay of $15.
Okay.
And how many do you go to? It's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Some jobs, based on whatever care they have, some people pay $20, some pay $30. So it depends on what your employer is offering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we think about it like this, healthcare in the UK is actually not free. People say it's free, but it's not.
No, it's not.
People pay IHS fees. No, we pay for it. We pay IHS fees, which they keep increasing almost every year. And then we also pay our taxes.
Yeah.
Which is, the healthcare is funded through our taxes.
Yeah.
So
it's not free. Nothing is free, really.
Yeah.
So for anybody that is planning to move, I mean, the world is now, the global world is now, what's the right word they use in describing it? Like as if to say everything is now together, that people can access information from wherever they are to wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
So don't limit yourself.
Yes.
I would say.
Yes. So you think US is a good place for students or anybody who wants to?
I love it. Having lived in the UK and now here, I wouldn't even compare. The opportunities are just plenty compared to the UK and other places. That's my opinion, though. Somebody is free to disagree with me.
All right. Yeah, US is called the land of opportunities. right? And it accommodates everybody, no matter what you want to do. If you want to pursue your career, you want to go into business, whatever you want to do, US allows you to do that. US allows you to fly, basically.
Yeah, allows you to flourish.
Yeah.
It's a great place, I can say. And it's a place that I don't know any other country in the world where immigrants can come and succeed as they have in this country. I don't know any place else. You can go to a business, a very good, flourishing business, and it's owned by a Nigerian or an African. And I'm not talking of just little, businesses. I'm talking of big businesses. And it's owned by a Nigerian or an African and employing Nigerian professionals as well. And then Nigerian professionals and African professionals are doing very well in all walks of life here. You have Nigerians that are presidents of universities and provosts and, heads of departments and directors in very big institutions. Nigerians, Africans, immigrants generally. I don't know any place that can give people that kind of opportunity.
All right. So, but if people come here through study, do they have to go back?
I know that after you've studied, they give you a year of, I don't remember the term of what they call it, where kind of you're supposed to practice what you have studied. Okay. They have that 1 year working time. So like the guy that I mentioned earlier, he did that. And within that 1 year of working time, you can get a job that sponsors you for a work visa.
Yeah.
And then may sponsor you for a green card along the line too. Or you find somebody to marry. And I'm not talking, those kind of marriages. I'm talking a real marriage if the person is single and looking to settle here. So there are many opportunities that, how you can convert your student visa to a work visa.
That allows you to stay permanently.
Yes. Yeah. We actually came on an exchange student visa.
Okay.
When we came here. But along the line, things changed.
Yeah. And you've been here for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope this helps. Please feel to leave your comments or questions in the comment section. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Sister Izine, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you guys in my next one.
All right. Bye.